This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or simply making a donation. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. I got a new toy, it just turned up, and as you can probably gather from the logo on the side of the box, you've probably got some indication of where it came from. This is the Yamaha THR5 practice amp cum boombox cum audio interface, and well, we're going to give it a thorough once over to see how it performs in all of those guises. I guess that's the object of today's video. So first thing we need to do is get it out of the box.
Go on, lad, way ahead.
Okay, so it's all out of the box and all hooked up and ready to go. Next up, what we're going to do is take a look at the features of the amplifier, what the controls are, what they do, and so on and so forth. But if you're impatient and you want to just hear how it sounds, then as soon as I've edited this video together, I will put a time code somewhere around about here for you to tell you where you need to skip to ahead in the video to just hear the sounds. Anyway, let's take a look at the amplifier's features. Right, so here it is, all unboxed and plugged in. The orange glow coming from inside is just a cosmetic thing. There aren't any valves in there, obviously. Basically, we're going to be taking a look at the top panel and what all the controls do. I will just mention, and let's have a look, that if we go around the back, you can see the connectors that we've got there. Just nothing much on the back panel, just the USB connection to put it into the PC and the power socket, and that's basically all it is. Most of what you're going to be fiddling around with is on the top panel or in the accompanying software, but more on that later. Anyway, let's crack on and see what's happening in terms of the controls, shall we? Okay then, so this is the front panel of the amplifier. It's actually the top panel, but we won't quibble. Most of the controls are self-explanatory, but let's just have a quick run through them anyway. Starting with the amp control, this gives you a bunch of different amp models: clean, crunch, lead, Brit high, and modern. Pretty self-explanatory what all of those do. I would actually argue, though, that the crunch model is more of a vintage clean type sound. It's just gives you that bit more warmer kind of vintage retro kind of clean, as opposed to a spangly, sparkly, typical kind of modern clean sound. What we got next? Gain. Well, that's self-explanatory, really. We know what that does. The master control sets the volume of the patches that you can create in the editor software. More on that later. Tone. Just a single tone control, rather basic, but it does have a pleasing effect on the sound. It's a useful range of values you can get out of that. If you're looking for more scope to sculpt the bass, middle and treble, then you're going to need to go into the editor software where you can do exactly that. Next up, we have some modulation effects, chorus, flange, phaser and tremolo. Then we get a delay and reverb setting, where you get either delay on its own or delay plus reverb, or you get a spring reverb or a hall reverb. Once again, go into the editor software and you get room reverbs and plate reverbs and a bit more scope to tweak things. The little button over here to the left hand side of the panel, that basically is a tap control that allows you to set the delay time on the front of the amp. As I say, you can also set the delay time in the editor software, but that's how you can do it on the fly on the front of the amp. If you hold it down, it activates the inbuilt tuner. Over here we have a headphone socket, so you can plug in a set of ear goggles, and then finally an auxiliary input, so you can plug your phone in, or MP3 player, or any music source to jam along with backing tracks, or perhaps just use it as a speaker system for your music that's on your phone or MP3 player. So that's what's going on the top panel of the Yamaha THR5. So there you go. Now, one of the main selling points of this amplifier is that you can hook it up to your PC and do all kinds of clever stuff with it, not least using it as a recording interface. So here's how you do that. Okay, then once you've installed the driver for the THR5, you can use it as an audio interface to record to your computer. You can do this with any recording software. I'm using Audacity here just to demonstrate this, but it works exactly the same in Reaper or Cakewalk, or even the Cubase that comes with the THR5. What you do is you set the input to line THR5, and if you want to use the THR5 as your audio output device, your speakers basically, then set the output to the same thing there. Now, if I just grab my guitar and hit record, and I've recorded some guitar. As easy as that. And then obviously just save that as an MP3 or whatever you want to save it as. Dead easy to use, very straightforward, no friction at all in the learning process here. Everything is very, very intuitive, I have to say. I should just mention there that you do need to download the drivers from Yamaha's website. I first thought, well, it's just basically an audio interface, so maybe I can just try and run it on a bog standard ASIO driver. I think I used ASIO for all. It didn't like that. I had to download the Yamaha drivers, but it takes like seconds to do that, so it's not a big heartache to have to do that. Anyway, another thing that you can do by hooking it up to the PC is you get more control over the sounds. You can edit the sounds and store them as patches that you can recall at any time with nothing but a mouse click. So here's how you use the software. Once again, this is something that you download from Yamaha's website. Right, so this is what the editor software looks like, and you've got all kinds of control over many more parameters than you have on the panel, front panel, top panel of the amplifier. You get more effects. You've got a compressor here. You can choose between the different modulation effects here. Same number on there that you have on the top panel of the amp, but basically just a little bit more scope to control them, so you get like speed, depth and mix controls there. Typical sort of thing for modulation effects. You get a noise gate down here. As I said earlier, you can sculpt the bass, middle and treble a little bit more accurately on this panel here in the software than you can on the amplifier, and you also get to choose what kind of speaker cabinet you're playing through. American 4x12, American 2x12, British 4x12, British 2x12, or a 1x12 or a 4x10. I tend to prefer the British 4x12 setting. It just sounds meatier for most things. So next up, we're going to take a look at using this software to have a play around with some of the parameters of a sound. Right, so as you can see, I've already created a little library of sounds here, inspiringly and originally titled My Sounds. I've got a clean sound, a crunch sound and a lead sound. So let's take a listen to the clean sound. Here we go. There we go. Now let's say I just wanted to add a little bit of chorus to that sound. I click on the effect control here and we'll set the chorus mix to about halfway. speed and depth somewhere around about there. What do we get here? We get this. And there is a little bit of chorus added. Now if I want to save that sound, I just go save to library, and we'll type in here clean chorus. And I'm going to save that to slot number 4. There we go. And then make sure I save the library that now contains that new sound. So there we go, save, and that's it. I've now created a new sound. Next time I call up that patch, that library rather, there you can see clean chorus is in there, and here we go. That's how easy it is to edit and store your sounds with the THR editor. And if you didn't skip ahead already earlier on in the video, now let's take a listen to some of the sounds that I've been able to cook up in the short time I've been playing with this amplifier. That's not a bad collection of sounds. I've been playing with the amp for like less than 24 hours, and it's a really intuitive editing process, and it's easy to get to grips with. The thing I like about this amp is that it saves all of the complicated in-depth stuff for, you know, a bit of software that you can play around with on the PC. You don't have to use that if you don't want to. One of the criticisms of a lot of you know, kind of practice modeling amps is it's just option anxiety. You can you know, there are good sounds in there, but you have to hunt them down because there are so many settings and parameters on the front panel of the amp that it takes forever to kind of dial in the sound that you want. You can dial in a perfectly good sound, perfectly usable sound just on the controls on the amp, but if you want to go into a little bit more depth, you can do it via the software. And what a sound you get! I was really impressed. The guitar tones that it generates. I mean, the last amp that I did, which was anything like this, I guess was ages ago. I reviewed the Blackstar Fly 3, which, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic sounding little practice amp, but it's like it produces good guitar sounds, but you're hearing those guitar sounds through a very small and tinny speaker to a certain extent. It's a little bit like listening to your favourite rock guitarist on a cheap boombox, essentially, but that is not the case with this Yamaha THR5. It sounds incredible. It's a massive sound that comes out of this little box of tricks. You know, a big, full, stereo, warm, ballsy, beefy sound. So much so that, I mean, I've just got it hooked up now as permanently as the audio device on my laptop. I have two computers in here. I have the main desktop machine that I do most of the stuff on, and then a little laptop just sitting at the side of the desk that I kind of use for overspill sort of stuff. And now I've got the THR5 hooked up to that as its speakers, and it gives a big old sound. You know, you can play music through it and it sounds like you're listening to it on a big stereo. You know, you could easily use this amplifier as you know, a standalone kind of main music playback device. You know, it doesn't have Bluetooth on it. That's something that I guess you do get on a lot of dedicated devices like that. But, you know, you can go onto eBay and buy a Bluetooth adapter for pennies. You know, just plug it into the auxiliary socket, Bluetooth it up to your phone, and, you know, you're good to go. It is a good stereo sound, and then, you know, you're hearing these rather impressive guitar sounds coming out through it. It's, you know, I'm really pleased with it, and I'm quite pleased about it. I just bought it because I had a few quid burning a hole in my pocket, and I thought, yeah, why not? One problem that it does solve for me actually is with my Skype lessons. For some reason, when I play my guitar through the PC, as I usually do, and that sound comes out of the speakers, sometimes it basically doesn't get heard at the other end of a Skype call. Never been able to figure out why, but playing it through, playing the guitar through the THR5, whoever's on the other end of the Skype call can hear me playing, which is, you know, very useful in a guitar lesson situation. So there you go. That is the Yamaha THR5. Really nice bit of kit. I paid $147.99 for it on Amazon. They are a little bit more expensive than that. I got it because it was discounted for 24 hours for some reason. I think they're up to about 160 now, but even at that kind of money, fantastic little piece of kit that if you're thinking about pulling the trigger on one, just do it. You won't regret it. So that's pretty much it for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative. And if you have, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And I will just take a moment now to remind you that I have a charity single out at the moment. It's in aid of Zoe's Place Baby Hospice, a charity in Middlesbrough which provides palliative, respite and end-of-life care to children under 5 with terminal illnesses. Basically, I've recorded an instrumental version of the old Wizard hit I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. And if you are in the UK, you can listen to me talking about it on the radio. I'm going to be on Zetland FM at 10 o'clock UK time on the 28th of November, I think it is. It is the 28th of November. Zetland FM, if you live in the Teesside area, you can pick them up on FM or anywhere else in the world. If you want to hear me plugging the single, you can listen to it online, I'm sure. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. If you want to support the channel, you can enroll on one of my courses, which you saw at the beginning of the video. Details at the end of the video on how to enroll on those, where you can find them, links in the description, etc, etc. Or I'll just mention that if you are looking for some ideas for Christmas presents or hints to drop to your nearest and dearest what you want for Christmas, if you don't fancy a course, then I'm doing gift vouchers for Skype lessons now. Again, details at the end of the video on where you can order those, and links in the description. So that's pretty much it for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time around. Bye for now. And don't forget before you go to check out my Udemy courses, which you can see are available via my website, which is also where you can contact me to get in touch for some one-to-one tuition, either via Skype or in person if you live local to me. I also have merchandise available on my Teespring store, and of course all of the links are in the description. See you next time, chaps.